Today we're going to unbox a brand new and exciting product from NVIDIA called the DGX Spark. This is actually his product he ordered, but this is designed really again to acclimate developers into the AI space and get them comfortable with a lot of the NVIDIA side of technologies. So James is a little more of an expert than I am, so I'll let him do a lot of the talking, but what we're going to do is we're going to unbox this, take a look at it, get inside, and have some different angles. We're going to go over some specs as well and try to dissect a little bit of what this product can do and hopefully provide some content in the future for the channel and go from there. So let's get started.
All right. So I'm excited to be able to finally get this open. This is sitting on my desk since like 2 o'clock today, so it's been calling at me. But if probably you've seen the reviews, there's a lot of hype going around from NVIDIA. The one thing to note about any of the benchmarks that you've seen, it's not meant to be a performer. It is meant specifically to go and do developmental things. But it is, like I said, it's absolutely exciting because of the fact that you could do things with it that you cannot do previously with the lower end stuff. Okay, let's get started. So first and foremost, pretty nice box. Actually, this has some weight to it. In fact, the shipping weight was 8 pounds. So this is going to be a chunker. Anyways, flipping it over, it's got the pull tabs and whatnot on it. So we're going to go ahead and
Very Apple-esque.
Yeah, very Apple-esque. So it's got that literally that peel.
Premium, you know, it's a lot of money.
All right, so this is literally the first time being opened. And obviously we've got some warnings, we've got some specs.
I'll take some recordings of it here too.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Like that.
Nice little box here. Yeah, excellent.
All right. Probably have to blur out some of those serial numbers and whatnot. I don't know, but
yeah.
Let's go ahead and sit it down and go ahead and get an opening on it. So this is, face it like this. Are you guys there? I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. Sliding it up. It's got a nice little seal. There it goes. Okay. Wow. Okay, that's a hefty box.
Interesting texture on the front there.
Yeah. So it's got this almost like a coral texture to it. It's actually hard. It's not spongy at all. I would like it to do like a Brillo, but wow, this feels premium. This is like, it's got, of course, got like the Apple, the Mac Mini.
Oh yeah.
It's got like airflows in the bottom of it it's actually really nice. But yeah, so here's what the front looks like. And of course, all the real stars in the back here.
Let me take a look at that. Yeah.
So we've got a power input. We've got a power button, power input, and then we've got 3. I believe these are the 40 gigabit USB 4s on the front, and then of course we've got our HDMI, and then that's the latest version of HDMI as well. And of course we've got our 10 gig Ethernet, which is great for our LAN connectivity. So the one thing about this unit is that it has the smallest type of SSDs you can put into it for when it comes to the size. So the performance on the SSDs has been reviewed as not being that great, but that's okay because you've got a 10 gig Ethernet connection you can actually get outside. But the real star of the show here is actually the 100 gigabit, the dual 100 gigabit QSFP 25 interface that is actually for ConnectX 7. So this sets it apart really from all the rest of the competition, the fact that it can now cluster with other devices at full speed, whereas the other devices you're kind of limited with 10 gig, or even if you're using USB, 40 gig. So this is really the star of the show. But again, this is a developer box, so it's not meant for full-blown production. This is not something you're going to go ahead and put in an environment at a customer site and run stuff. You could, but the performance is not going to be as you would probably prefer. But what this is meant for is for any developer to be able to develop something for the DGX platform, and then ultimately be able to literally copy and paste it directly into NVIDIA's DGX server clusters, pretty much anywhere in the world in these massive data centers. So just a fantastic product in the fact that it gets you right there with full-blown CUDA in that platform, that whole very, very, very in-depth ecosystem that exists. Some of the specs, no doubt you've seen the specs online already. It's using the GB10, the Grace Blackwell NVIDIA claims this to be a super chip, but it has roots in their DGX from like 2018. So it's very similar, and in fact, performance-wise from the original one. 20-core ARM CPU. It's got the 10 Cortex X925s, and then it has 10 A725. And then it's going to be using the DGX OS, which is a modified version of Ubuntu. So it's really very, very familiar for a lot of people who are using it. So most people are going to be accessing it not from the web interface or from the interface on it, even though it has HDMI. Most of them are going to be using the shell and the built-in portal that has it, which is awesome. It's got 128 gigs of LPDDR5X, which this is really why you buy this. So you can run the large language models, you can run full agentic multi-modal models. That's really the star of the show. So you could finally start doing actual agentic work at scale on this device. Because of the fact that it has these two 100 gigabit connections, you'll be able to link two of these together. And right now, at the moment, NVIDIA is saying it supports officially two. However, there's nothing to stop you from connecting this to a 100 gigabit switch and then getting multiples, more than these. The really, really cool thing about this device is that, you look at the price tag on it, it's $4,000 for this particular unit. But NVIDIA has like 7 other partners that have their own version of it, which range from anywhere around 3,000 and up, that are considerably more reasonable in price. But certainly, it's not the least expensive. It's definitely up there in cost. Comparatively to Apple's product, it doesn't really even come close to Apple's product. But then again, not to use the term Apple, but apples to apples, it's not really an apples to apples comparison between those two platforms. So
yeah, that's exciting.
But I mean, this is awesome, and you want to have a feel. It's quite hefty.
Oh, geez, yeah. This is pretty packed in there, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's solid metal here too. It's kind of hard to. I'll just kind of show you here on the camera, but like this feels like that's the thickness of it. It's got to be a good 1/8 inch metal around. I'm assuming this is part of the cooling system for it too. But yeah, so and it's interesting that they put the logo on vertically, and I think I've seen in other YouTube channels. Was it Wendell or was it maybe Gamers Nexus or something like that? They built a 3D or made a 3D printed little base for it so you can stand it up, because I guess this does get really hot. I think Wendell talked about that a little bit on his channel, and yeah, I don't know if that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I think even Network Chuck he put his coffee on it to keep his coffee warm.
Yes, that's it too. Yeah, so that seems like maybe a little bit problematic. I don't know. We'll see.
The form factor of this is actually really curious. It looks like it's a 1U form factor. So I'm very curious if you can get these in a rack. If you 3D printed a rack kit for them.
Yeah, or that's true.
Stand them up vertically as well.
This is true. This is about the same size. Like I have some of these little hyperdecks, and it is like that. And I know there's I forget the standard is, but you could put like 3 of them in a row in a rack. So this might be a solution. And maybe they were thinking about doing that. That'll be really interesting to see how that works there. You mentioned something too about the CUDA versions.
So this is the one thing. This platform is starting to it uses the CUDA Toolkit 13. It specifically ships with 13.0.2. This is kind of a departure from the previous version of CUDA in the fact that basically the one toolkit, the one platform basically codes for all versions of the variations of the for x86 as well as for ARM, because going forward this is all ARM. So in the past you had to compile for your version of your hardware. So now you basically build once, and now it works with all platforms. So this is a really a great step forward. So pretty much anything that's built on 13 and above is going to be basically supported for whatever platform you may be coding for. So this is just really a great step forward in this, and I think it'll be a real big innovation. NVIDIA, obviously, they have the ecosystem and the software. They've been, really the leader for forever now, and they have literally every single thing that's supported on it. Out of the box, if you go to NVIDIA's site and you go to look at their software packages for it, you can get anything under the sun, and they include with this training. Actually, there's a $90 training CUDA, so I'm looking forward to actually seeing how that works.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
actually kind of curious as why that seems like a pretty big deal, and I'm actually surprised why no one's talking about that because I mean, for a developer myself, that's one of the most frustrating things is trying to target the right hardware, and obviously, it's always changing. And you know, babysitting your code to compile for something new that's frustrating, and
yeah.
that's counterproductive. So I would imagine this would be, like that's what I'm saying. I'm surprised that not more people are talking about that aspect of it alone
Yeah.
because, and it's I don't know, maybe if you know or not, or you're familiar, but like are there, I mean, obviously moving forward, is there current hardware other than the DGX that does this right now? Or is this coming out, like obviously we got, 6,000 series, but you know,
Yeah, so I mean, obviously the DGX is their main flagship platform that they're pushing for. But I mean, you could still code, on for example, like a 6000 series. For example,
yeah,
you get the Blackwell, obviously the RTX 6000, the 5000, and then of course you got the previous platforms.
yeah,
But although there are, ultimately this is a Blackwell platform. That's where Blackwell really gets its start. Um, Obviously, the previous generations were looking at 12x. They had backward support, but you had to do compiling for both platforms. So
yeah.
now going forward, it's all unified. So if it's 13x support, it supports everything. Great. Do you want to go ahead and open the rest of the box and see what
Yeah,
else is
let's do
included?
it. Absolutely. Yeah. We've been talking about the unit, but there's a bunch more in the
Yeah.
box here. So
So go ahead and lift up here.
yeah,
Now this is just a
I'm going to go ahead and put that over there for you.
this is just a cushion
Yeah.
platform, which is actually really great for shipment. So it's awesome. So
Yeah. Let's just
set
kind
this
of take a
off to the
look
side
inside
here.
there. Here we go. We got the Spark.
So we've got of course we got our power cable, which is actually great. It's a molded, standard everyday American or U.S. obviously because I ordered it from the United States, so it's going to go with the U.S. Power cable. So pretty standard issue. It's not too terribly long, but then again, it doesn't really need to be. You could fit this on your desk. I know a lot of people who will be needing to do that. Usually, I mean, it may be a status figure thing that you're going to be sitting on your desk, but you got a quick start guide. Obviously, we have our username and password. So, but the way you set it up is that there's basically a Wi-Fi, and it comes with the instructions on it. But essentially, what you're going to do is you're going to boot the device up, and then you're going to connect to its internal Wi-Fi, and then from there, you're going to go ahead and program it to connect to your network, and then do the rest of the setup process through your mobile device. It's actually kind of a pretty standard issue now for a lot of things. It reminds me of a lot of like Ubiquity and some of those platforms, but this is just a standard everyday quick start guide. It's got different languages, so we're just flipping through them all.
Yeah.
Um,
Nice.
yeah, all the standards, regulatory warnings and whatnot. So just a generic. It's very very quick. The real detailed stuff is actually on the website if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And we got a power brick here. I believe this is a 270-watt power brick from my understanding. But it's again, this is very very Apple-esque, but it's yeah,
Yeah. They're good in there. Oh, yeah. Yep.
yeah. So it's again pretty nice. It's USB-C. So like, one thing to note is on this device, the port that is on the far left-hand side is our USB-C power. So yeah, try not to plug your cable into the wrong port. I don't think it's going to cause any damage, but it might
Yeah.
not power on.
Doesn't
So
sound like a good idea.
yeah, just to be on the safe side, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Sounds good. Is there anything else in there?
No,
Nope.
that's it.
All right. So
That-
that's the box.
yeah, nothing more, nothing more. So,
Pretty straightforward.
yeah. So, shall we get it fired up?
Yeah, I think so. That'd be great.
Okay, let's do
Let's
it.
do it. Anyway, we're back. We've got it all set up now. So the DGX Spark is plugged into a monitor. Obviously, this is not a exhaustive benchmark review. This is just an unboxing. So we're going to just show real quickly some basic comparisons from competition that's available on the market today, and we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah. So, just if you want to like take a look at the recording on the back here. So we've got our 100 gig link. I actually happen to have a 100 gig switch in my home lab of all cases. But we got the SFP QSFP plus cable connected to it right now. So it just shows it being connected. Um, but comparing it with what is out there right now, so that probably the closest competition, at least from the AMD side of things, would be there's a company called B-Link who just released their GTR 9 Pro, which is using the Ryzen AI Max 395, which is it's an awesome CPU, GPU. It's an APU, and it also comes with dual 10 gigabits. So it's actually really really good for connectivity, but uh, with its 128 gigs of unified memory, there is a little bit of a sacrifice when it comes to the AMD side of things. You're looking at sacrificing roughly 32 gigs of memory for the system. So in all reality, you're looking at about 96 gigs of dedicated or unified memory that's available to the GPU. So the closest apples to apples comparison, I guess, between the AMD side versus NVIDIA would be this B-Link device, because it does come with a dual 10 gig, which is probably the most compelling reason to get it. You could, you can cluster those two together. The biggest limitation, of course, is that bandwidth gap between the two.
Yeah.
And you get the exact same situation with the Apple side of things. So even if you're making a Mac cluster, that link, a lot of times what they've been doing is they've been using the USB for the networking, because it's a 40 gigabit. So they've been kind of cheating it, as opposed to using Ethernet. They use the 40 gigabit USB. And in the case of the difference in cost, though, that's where the biggest difference is. In the case of this B-Link device, it's about $2,000 for that unified memory in its system, and that will get you an awesome computer for $2,000. You could essentially buy two of them and have more unified memory than you could with the DGX Spark. However, if you really want to go full bore, then you'd go with the Mac Studio, and that's going to get you up to 512 gigs of unified memory. And really, there's no comparison with that. But the difference, of course, you're going to pay for it. That's $10,000.
Yeah.
Although you can configure a Mac Studio that has 128 gigs, and it's going to be a little bit more expensive than the DGX Spark.
Yeah.
So
4 terabyte hard drive, 128 gigs.
yeah, that's one thing to note as well. This is also running the 4 terabyte. If you go with, you can get a 2 terabyte version of this. I think you can also get a 1 terabyte version. I'm not 100% certain on that.
What's the price differences? Do you know?
Well, here's the thing. So if you go with one of the partner devices, for example, like Dell, HP, I think Lenovo, there's a handful of them that's on their website. They go for $3,000. So you're already saving $1,000, but they also don't come with the 4 terabyte drive. So they're coming with a much smaller space. But that's okay though, because most of the time you can actually load these models up over a network off a NAS. It has USB 4, so honestly, you're actually going to get higher performance out of that USB 4 interface than you can out of the SSD, especially in the case of the Spark, because one of the biggest complaints about it was it's using I think it's the 8040 interface, which is the little itty bitty NVMe, which the controller on that's not that great for performance. So you don't see nearly the performance of the full-blown NVMe. So biggest complaint on that was mostly because of the thermals. Those little tiny devices, they kind of thermal throttle really early. So best bet is just be happy with what you have when you do something like that, or go over a network, or just do USB 4, because you're gonna get much better performance out of it. So yeah, we're currently at the setup screen on it, and as you can see, we've got a little tiny a little itty bitty keyboard to kind of go along with our little itty bitty supercomputer. So
That's right.
just to say that we've got it actually connected. Most of the time, when you get a device like this, you're going to set it up via your mobile app, and actually the instructions come with it. It's got a little Wi-Fi transmitter, and you set up through the actual Wi-Fi portion of it. However, you can do through the actual screen. It's like I said, it's running a modified version of Ubuntu. It's using the NVIDIA's modified OS version of it. So
Yeah, very good. So again, not an exhaustive review. We'll get into the more details of that. Stay tuned. Certainly keep an eye on the channel, Reality Prompt. In the meantime, enjoy the AI slop, and we'll hopefully create some more content using this device specifically. Obviously, the channel we try to showcase a lot of different AI technologies and tools, some paid, some free, run locally, and that's what we're trying to get into, because that's definitely, I can see the direction of where AI is headed, where you can run these type of applications locally to be able to create content, audio, video, whatever it might be. Really exciting. So stay tuned again, and of course, if you like this content, this is just the beginning. So please like, comment, of course, subscribe. That would be a huge, huge help for this channel. And we'll see you soon. Thanks again.